So, we're back better than ever. Now we have all this great technology. We worked out a plan. I'm sure you have plenty of people apologizing for shortcomings and times and the way destiny has laid out its hand, but dare I do not apologize, because I think that this is an opportunity for us to explore the possibilities of digitally engaging and communicating. And this is going to be the time when we learn some new and interesting skills. And I'm not even going to apologize for the mistakes that I'm certainly going to make. But I am going to welcome you to Comics and Narrative Illustration 1. If you don't know who I am, my name is Professor Craig Campbell, pronouns he, him. And I will be co-teaching this class with Melanie Gilman, pronouns they, them. And you may be familiar with Melanie Gilman from As the Crow Flies or Stage Dreams. But most likely, looking at their face, you will recognize them from a visit they had last year where they went over some colored pencil illustration. And I know that a lot of you switched your brands of colored pencils because of that. And also, you would have noticed that they are fantastic in their understanding of color. But, see, the thing is that most professors don't get to brag about themselves, but if you're co-teaching, you get to brag about your co-professors. So I'm just wanted to brag about them. They're fantastic. But as a summary, let's just look at the overall semester and what we plan to cover. I am going to keep it generally pretty simple earlier on in my description, and then I'm going to get a little bit more detailed. It's not going to be too crazy. In the simplest terms, this semester is broken down into two parts. The first part being genre, the second part being medium. Now, genre covers like romance and storytelling devices, and the medium is how comics functions, specific notions of storytelling surrounding comics, and we're going to just kind of allow that space to be a lot more theory-based, while the first half is going to be a lot more application-based, so that you can apply what you learn in the first half of the semester to your final project. Okay? So the projects are divided into two parts, parts that are covered by Professor Gilman and parts that are covered by Professor Campbell. So on my part, we're going to be focusing on two specific projects. That's going to be the 3-page collaborative comic. This is going to be where you, whoever you are in that other end, are going to collaborate with two other people, and you're going to divide the workload of making that comic into 3 parts in a reflection of the comics manufacturing systems. You have the writer, you have the penciler, you have the inker. And so we're going to do that 3-page comic. The second project is going to be the 7 to 10 page comic that each of you make, which will be a complete comic project. If you took comic book illustration, you understand kind of that workload. If you haven't, I will be there for you to help you through this process and help kind of guide you. And we're going to find a nice little workflow for you so that we can make sure that we can get through this. That's where that 3-page comic should help out. The 3-page comic will be 10% of your grade, and the 7 to 10 page comic will be 30% of your grade. The other part of the class, which Professor Gilman will go over, will be the comics review and the world building analysis. Once you add participation and in-class work to that, that will come out to 100%. I will briefly go over the syllabus to kind of help orient everybody, but I just want to make sure that y'all get these big details. In addition to that, I just want to break down the basic genres that we're going over. And so you could divide this in terms of main plot and subplot based on the way that it's going to apply to your 7 to 10 page comic. The genres as they are listed as we go over them will be action, comedy and humor, romance, autobiography, fantasy, horror suspense, and science fiction. You'll note that comedy, romance, action, adventures, all those things tend to be able to function as either the main plot or the subplot. So those will be the ones that we'll be exploring as a subplot through your 7 to 10 page comic, but the 7 to 10 page comic will be a genre comic. I apologize for anybody who doesn't like genre comics. They will be horror, sci-fi, or fantasy. And it'll be fun. I think it'll be fun. You know, we do plenty of autobios, and you guys are going to keep doing autobios until, but that should be the big highlight of the year. We will be going over color and a bunch of other details and different methodology. For some of you, we will have some repeats But keep in mind that when we repeat certain things, that will contribute to continuing to be kind of beaten into your head, and you will be able to recontextualize the things that you've learned in previous classes and apply them to new and different skill sets. So please be patient, be understanding, and we're going to have some fun. The thing I wanted to touch on is the assignment of Charlton comics to the readings. Every genre will have a specific comic that we go over and we will read together and we will assess through a lecture, and those will be Charlton comics. I want to note that Charlton comics, due to bad management, they lost all of the copyright to their work and it's all public domain now. So keep that in mind as we move forward. A lot of the stuff that I will be sending off to you will be bootleg-y and of poor quality, but they all really give you a sense of what each of these genres expect and what they establish in their bare minimums without any kind of cloudy good or bad or value judgments, because it will all in many ways be very bad. But they will be short readings, 7 to 10 pages, comics. So let's have fun with it, kind of explore these issues together, and really kind of like delve into it and feel out what works for you and what doesn't work for you, because as I mentioned, you're going to have to apply a lot of that stuff to your final project this year. So this is the first video that I'm making, and I wanted to let you know that I will be making videos that will be up every Monday, and they will be available for you to see, and I will be posting up assignments and due dates and kind of laying this out. There's still a lot of catching up to do. As I go through, I will continue to keep you posted. I will continue to update the Ghost Studio. I will try to keep everything as simple as possible and maintain a degree of communication with you. In addition to that, we will be having some live events that are not required, but if you find yourself needing to get a little bit of that motivation in, by all means, join us for those live events, and we will continue to check in on you, and by all means, check in on us, because we aren't going to have the luxury of seeing you every day and getting to assess how you're feeling. And if nothing else, I would love to have a one-on-one talk with each and every one of you so that we could better know each other. It will allow for us to open up an avenue of communication. This will be hugely valuable as we move forward, because I wouldn't want you to curtail any of your experiences with your professor, with your professors, your multiple professors. And I want you to know that this is not going to be an excuse to undercut you or not give you the time that you need. So by all means, let me know what you need. Let me know if you ever need a visit on office hours. Office hours are at your leisure, within reason, no midnight phone calls. Again, I want to say welcome. This should be a good year. I'm excited to see the work that we produce, and I look forward to seeing how these things turn out. By all means, please shoot me feedback whenever. I'm always open, especially since we're doing these new things, and I would love to hear your critiques. All right, with that, I guess we'll begin.